Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Peter and Thailand Bound. If it's your first time here, welcome. I make videos about Thailand. So today's Sunday. I don't normally upload videos on a Sunday, but England's living up to its dreary name. It's raining, it's miserable, it's very, very boring. I don't have a lot to do today, so I thought I'd read out these two stories from two completely different guys, and I hope you're going to enjoy these, so I'll just kick straight off.
สถานีต่อไปนานา Next station นานา
So here we go, the first story and the second story. I'm going to be reading both of them just as they've been sent to me. So here we go. I am a 64 and retired through disability, but I still get around and enjoy life. I was divorced 18 years ago and I was put through hell and taken to the cleaners. I'm sure you know what I mean. I am comfortably off, have a nice house, car and everything I could wish for. I have been to Thailand once a year for a couple of months until COVID closed in, and like you, cannot get back to Thailand right now. But my story started in 2008. I went on a website called Thai Brides to try and meet a woman. After about 6 months, I met up with a girl through the website. A 2-week romance developed. Her name was Tong. No, she wasn't a ladyboy. I had to go to the agency to meet her. Tong and I stayed in Bangkok for 5 days, then travelled around a bit. I went out shopping on my own to a shopping centre and someone was calling my name. I was thinking, keep walking, this could be trouble, but it turned out to be another lady I had met at the agency. She'd recognised me. This girl had a friend with her, so I said, okay, let's go for a coffee. We did, and the friend was very interested in me. She went on to tell me that her parents were dead and she had no children. To be honest, I was only interested in Tong at the time. I returned to the UK, loved up, and started sending money to Tong. Stupid, I know. Tong worked in a factory, or so she said, but I think she'd been a bar girl, but I hadn't realised at the time. After 6 months and a lot of silly ideas from Tong, the relationship went cold. I guess we all go through this experience with girls we meet in Thailand, but most of us learn and move on. So the next year I'm back on the website thinking, was the lady in the shopping centre the one that got away? Maybe. This time I meet a lady who was 38. Her name was Nat. She said she had no children and never married and worked for an American cosmetics company. Nat met me at the airport when I arrived. She drove me to a restaurant where her friends were, and to be honest, I was jet lagged and I didn't enjoy the time at the restaurant at all. We spent 3 weeks enjoying each other's company and we travelled to Hua Hin. I think Hua Hin is the best town in Thailand. We spent time in Dolphin Bay, magic. I go there every trip, not so many idiots like you see in Pattaya. I understand why you got tired of Pattaya, Peter. I know why you like Hua Hin. What I haven't told you is that Nat had to work, so we were going to destinations that she had to visit for work as she was in charge of 20 plus shops for the company. That's the cosmetics company. I once again returned to the UK and kept in contact with Nat. This time it was good. I then invited Nat over to the UK. Nat came over for 10 days. It was a summertime, but she was always cold and not very adventurous with the food. When Nat returned to Thailand, she told me that her brother had passed away. She had no money for the funeral, so I sent her £1,000. That's about 12,000 US dollars or about 40,000 baht. That might seem like a lot and she could have been scamming me, but as I said, I was comfortably off and I really wanted to help her. After a while, I realised that Nat lived to work and did not work to live, if that makes sense. So I ended the relationship. I told her that I wanted someone to spend time with and felt I was playing second fiddle in her life. I don't need a servant. I do not look at women like they are second-class citizens, Western or Asian. I treat all women with respect, no matter where they come from. Nat is now in the police department in her village of Sisikat in Isan. I stay in contact with her and I have been to Thailand and always have fun, but my message to everyone is don't get involved, it's just not worth it. We are told when we are young, don't smoke, do drugs, drink or gamble, but not to fall in love with the wrong woman. Thanks for sharing my story, Peter. Okay, so that's a very short one. My only input on that one is it sounds like the second one. You let a good one get away there, actually. Okay, so we'll move on to the second one.
สถานีต่อไปนานา Next station นานา
Okay, so this is quite a recent story. This is a story that took place last year, just before the COVID-19 kicked in. The guy's name is Tony and the girl's name is Na. So I'll just go right ahead and read it. My name is Tony. The girl's nickname is Na. I was 39 at the time this story took place. I am now 40. This story took place approximately this time last year, so a bit more recently for your viewers. I hope you haven't forgotten about the story and I look forward to hearing it soon. And again, please keep the names the same so I know what video to look out for. I mean, what he's basically saying there, because sometimes people send me videos, but I can take up to 2 months to actually produce them because I get so many. On with the story. The last time I was in Bangkok, I was seeing a girl who I had previously been seeing on other trips. To date, I have visited Bangkok 7 times. Na and I had known each other for a few years now. I also kept in touch with Na when I was back in London, as it kept my memories of Thailand alive while in dreary old England. The last time I was in Bangkok, Na and I decided to meet up once again. To the best of my knowledge, Na had never been a bar girl, so she said anyway. I remember one night we both got extremely drunk in my hotel room. We had been drinking hard liquor for 3 nights continually. Anyway, on the 3rd night, it caught up with both of us and we fell asleep in each other's arms. I woke up after several hours and way before Na woke up. You know how the Thai girls like to sleep forever and a day. Anyway, I decided to go to 7-Eleven downstairs for some much needed water. I was very dehydrated. I didn't want to wake Na as I would only be 5 minutes and I kind of trusted her after all these years. When I got back from the 7-Eleven, I noticed that she had moved position in bed. Maybe she had used the bathroom while I was gone, but noticed my suitcase had moved position too. She knew I had money in my suitcase. As I said, we were drinking hard liquor for 3 nights, so I left my money in my suitcase, which as said, had moved. I called her name and she never responded. I looked at her and she was sleeping quietly, but she wasn't really sleeping at all. She was pretending to sleep. She was too quiet. I went on the balcony for a cigarette and thought about this, looking at her pretending to be asleep through the glass door. I went back in and called her name, but again, no response. I went over to my suitcase and moved it back to its original position, which was next to my side of the bed. I checked the compartment where I had left all my cash after returning to the hotel when I was counting the money. She turned round and said, "What are you doing? Come back to sleep." I knew I was missing a few thousand baht. I asked her, "Did you take money from my suitcase while I was gone?" She replied, "No." The problem was, even though I knew money was missing, I couldn't figure out if it was 5, 6 or 7,000 baht because we were both so drunk. I knew money was missing. I asked Na again, "Are you sure you didn't take any money from this suitcase as my cash seems light?" She replied, "No, you spend by yourself. You spend a lot of money on alcohol and cigarettes, but not remember, you drink too much." I was feeling groggy, hungry, and I wasn't looking forward to the forthcoming hangover, so I decided to let it go for now and sleep it off. The next day we got up and I started counting the money again to figure out just how much was missing. 5, 6 or 7, as I say. Or maybe 4,000, I really wasn't sure. I looked at her and she noticed I knew something was very off. She came over to me and said, Tony, don't be angry with me. Please not be angry, okay? While you were gone, I take money from your suitcase." I stood up and looked at her and I wanted to scream at her, but I didn't. I felt so angry. I said, "So you mean to tell me after all this time we spent together, all this alcohol, food, cigarettes, entertainment, me buying you gifts, you were waiting for the opportunity just to rob me. You take money from my suitcase. We argue for 2 hours, both shouting at each other in the hotel room." I said, "Why didn't you just ask me? I would have given it to you. Why you have to steal it? You could have asked." I asked how much she had taken. She said 2,000 baht. We argued some more and I asked her again. She said 3,000 baht. We argued a little more and then she told me 4,000 baht. I thought to myself, that sounds about right. I asked her to return my money, which she did, but we shouted a little more. I asked her again, "Why would you do this to me after everything? You do this to me, why didn't you just ask? Why?" Turns out she just wanted to test me to see if I would remember. So she said, anyway, I said, "But if I never checked my suitcase, I would have never known that money was missing." She responded, "Yes, test." I said, "So if I failed the test, I would never know that you stole my money, right?" She replied, "Yes." I said, "Okay, so I passed the test, so what do I get back?" She said, "You get your money back." So we both argued again. I started shouting about this stupid test of hers. I was trying to explain to her that if I passed the test, you can't give me back something I already own. So what do I win? "You know, Tony, my English not so good. I not understand you." I got my money back and asked her to leave my room, which she did without argument. The funny thing is, when I returned to London, we still continued to communicate, laughing and talking about her stupid test. She would talk about the test and I would talk about how she tried to rob me but got caught. So about 6 months later, I returned to Thailand and we decided to meet on my last day before I catch my flight back home. I know I should have left it alone, but it was really niggling at me how she had tried to steal from me after our time together and after all that I had done for her. I wanted to do something to get my own back. She told me that she would come over to my room to watch TV if I would pay her taxi fare, to which I agreed. She would pay the driver, but I should give her money for both trips when she leaves my room. You can guess what happened next. After she arrived, we ended up making love for hours, and to be honest, it was fantastic, as we were both stone cold sober. When Na was just about to leave, she asked for the taxi fare. I told her, no, you have failed the test. I was testing you to see if you would come here after you had done to me. As you have failed my test, I'm not giving you anything. I had my bag already packed, left the room and was away. Na and I have not spoken since, she has blocked me on social media and all communication apps that we used. I would like to think that I am now a lot wiser. Looking back, I realised Na was only doing her job as best as she could, and unfortunately stealing and lying is in the job description of most bar girls. I guess I would do the same if I was raised in a shack in Isan and had nothing. I could have come unstuck at the time. I was very, very lucky. I wish I could meet Na again. I really miss her, and if I ever meet her again, I would sincerely apologise and pay her that taxi fare and a lot more. Okay, so there's two stories for you. I hope you enjoyed them. The only input from me on this particular story is all hotels in Thailand now have safes in the room, combination key safes, even the budget hotels, and you know, it's very, very wise, especially if you have company. Put everything of value into that safe and you'll be fine. Okay, so thanks for joining me once again for these videos, guys, and I'll catch you next time round.